All right, see, look how fast that went. Hey guys, it is the Ted Show. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, 2019. I am super excited. We've been trying to do this for a while. Super excited to have my friend Donna Ross on, Donna S Ross.
Yes.
I mean, that's how we have to say it, right?
Yes.
So we are in Celebration, Florida. Super cool little place. Been here all afternoon, kind of all morning. Let us know you can hear us or see us. I'm on a Wi-Fi, I don't know. Trisha Miller's on. Very nice. Hi, Trisha. Trisha Miller's on. Give us a heart or a thumbs up. Because I've done a few shows where people actually... Hi, Trisha. So she heard me. All right, so we're in good shape. So welcome to the show. I'm super excited to have you on here.
Thanks.
I picked this topic based on your bio. And I know you kind of come to the show a little bit kicking and screaming, even though you said to me, I want to be on the show, but you've never done Facebook Live.
No.
All right, so let's meet Donna Ross.
Hey.
All right, so tell us a little bit about you. Give us your origin story. Tell us what Donna Ross is all about. Your maiden name's probably not Ross.
Lorelli, Italian.
Lorelli, see, a good Italian. We were just talking about how we talk like this. Yeah, we're
yeah.
all going to talk. Me too, I get it. So give us your background.
So I started in Atlantic City, New Jersey as an assistant in a casino office. I was involved with the very first license for the Resorts International.
No way. So you worked in a casino. Is it as glamorous as it looks?
No.
Not even close, right?
So as everybody came on board, I put myself down as for an interview to an assistant because he wanted me to make his interviews, and I got the job.
Nice.
Okay, and I moved my way up to assistant to the president.
Wow, you really did move up, Donna Lorelli.
And then I had my family, so I moved from Atlantic City and started managing shopping centers.
Okay, wait. So where did you move
Big jump.
to? Where'd you move to? Did you stay? You didn't
This
stay in
is New
Atlantic
Jersey,
City.
and
So you're still in New
I'm
Jersey.
still in New Jersey.
That's where I'm from.
And I moved up to Monmouth County, Central Jersey, and I worked as a bookkeeper at this point as a property manager in New York City at 40th and Madison.
Nice.
Yeah, so I commuted to.
So
New
that's
York.
sort of how you got your first taste of real estate,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mhm.
property management is real estate. I was just talking to somebody earlier,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
think that's the unsung hero
It
sometimes
is. It
of
really is.
anything to do with real estate.
Yeah.
All right, so but you did it as a bookkeeper. So
what happened was they were looking for a property manager, and I put myself down. I'm like, guys, I'm right here. Why don't you consider me?
I love it.
And you got to go for what you want. And so they did. They said, okay, we'll give you a shot. So I ended up managing over 1 million square feet in shopping center space in 3 states.
Holy! Oh, so you had to travel.
Yeah, 20 years I did it.
All right, so tell me the states. You're New Jersey. Are you New York too?
No.
No.
No, just the office was in New York.
So where were the 3 states?
So New Jersey, Florida.
Oh, you had to come. Nice.
Yeah, interestingly. And also Pittsburgh. And we still own the one in Pittsburgh. I'm a partner in it now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know any of this stuff. That's so cool.
That's why you wanted to talk to me.
That's why I wanted to talk. I learn everything. I learn something new every day. All right. So, but shopping centers are a little bit different than managing individual homes.
It's much easier to me because there's no emotion involved. You're running a business. You don't pay your rent. You get out.
Nice. Isn't that how regular property managers are supposed to
Other
be
than,
too?
oh my gosh, my kids got sick and I can't pay the rent
Right.
for 2 days.
I'm
And in
sorry, I
my
have no
heart,
place
don't
to
pull
go.
on my heartstrings, but commercial is much easier.
So you had 1 million square feet. What does that look like? Are there big? What do they call them when they're the center? They're
So they're strip malls.
strip malls. But
Yeah.
you've got some. Was there somebody
They
who was the
were,
big store, and then everybody
yeah.
comes around it?
So in Florida, we were in South Florida, Miami, North Miami area. Got hit bad by Hurricane Andrew. That's how
Ouch.
long ago that was.
Wow.
And so, so the 2 in Miami were anchored by Winn-Dixie.
Oh yeah, so the anchor, that's the word I was
Yeah.
looking for. And by the way, hello, Mayor Alvarez. Good to see you on the show. That was the word I'm looking for, anchor.
Anchor.
There's usually some sort of anchor store
Right.
that attracts people in,
Yes.
and that's how you get the rest of the tenants.
Right. So the one that I had in New Jersey, the anchor was a 20,000 square foot patio and So figure like Amazon sells everything, but in 24,000 square feet at the time, because we're talking like 1989, 1990.
You were just a baby.
I was.
How was that possible?
And when Boston Market first came on on the market for, I didn't want to use market again, Boston Market. Anyway, they came to me and they wanted to be my end cap, and nobody knew who Boston Market was, and I gave them a shot. And in fact, my good friend, I'll shout out to Rob Anarumo, down in his brokerage nails down in Davenport.
Nice.
He was the person that was the representative for the lease.
Wow. Isn't it a small world?
So crazy. So with the first opening of Boston Market in Monmouth County, New Jersey, and they have lines were around the corner for the first day.
Nice.
So,
I like their cornbread,
yeah.
maybe. I don't know. I
know,
mean, whatever.
yeah.
My kids love Boston Market.
Right. So,
oh, look, Matt came on. Donna,
yeah.
Matt Gordon, fine. Oh, see, Matt pops on the show only when I have really special guests, apparently.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Matt doesn't
or
come
blonde.
on. Or blonde. Yeah, well. Oh, she knows you, Matt, so this is a good thing. All right, so you're in that 20 years.
Yes.
All right, so what was the catalyst for you to get out? What was your...
They sold them.
Oh, they... All right, so there it is. I love it when it's a simple answer.
So they sold all of them except for one, the one in Pittsburgh. And so I don't go there that often. I do go a couple times a year. I have an on-site manager now, and I just really oversee the manager that manages the building for them.
And so what's in there? Is the Winn-Dixie still the anchor?
No. So this is in Pittsburgh, so their Winn-Dixie is Giant Eagle. Same difference.
Giant Eagle?
Yeah.
I don't know that
Yep.
store.
So we're in south side Pittsburgh. We're in the blue-collar area, and we have great tenants since 1984. It's been 100% leased.
Isn't that insane? A lot of people can't say that.
No.
All right, but you obviously loved it enough to leave it, right? So you've got your interest there. You're part owner, right?
Right.
Is that what you said? What did you do when everything got sold? Oh, see, her Pittsburgh friends say, Tricia, Giant Eagle is great.
Yes.
I'm such a Publix guy, so it's super hard for me.
No, Giant Eagle's
so
awesome.
what did you do next?
So, way non-related, okay, so, well, kind of related. When I managed the shopping center in Shrewsbury, we had an awful fire right when I was renovating it. We were just about to finish it, and it took out 35,000 square feet.
Oh my God,
So,
that's an awful fire.
I'm our property manager, I had no way to know how to make sure that I was going to get a fair deal with my insurance company. So I
Right.
hired a public insurance adjuster to help us with the insurance interest, okay? And my adjuster, I stayed in touch with for so many years. Unfortunately, right when they sold all the shopping centers was when we had that year of 5 hurricanes, Katrina being one of them.
Oh, yeah.
2005.
Right.
And so the hub, he called me, he's like, are you still, you moved to Florida, right? What are you doing? I said, actually, I find myself doing nothing right now. He said, great, I'll pay you this much a week, and I need you to help me. I said,
Oh,
okay.
on public adjusting?
Yeah.
No way. So Beth Woodall says, go Donna. I love it when Beth pops on it.
I love Beth,
I love
too.
Beth. She's awesome. So you went into public adjusting.
Yes. So I was just the logistics person, making sure people were where they were supposed to be on a regular basis.
So just real quick, because people ask me, I'm still licensed, but I'm a recovering insurance agent.
Yeah.
On public adjusting, that's actually very pro-consumer. Right?
Right.
Everything's consumer on that.
And it gets such a bad rap.
It does. So I want you to talk just a teeny bit about that because I've never had a public adjuster on.
Okay.
I didn't know you were.
I'm still licensed.
Here we go.
Yeah.
This is me not knowing anything.
So
Anna came on. Oh, she's next door. We love her. So what does that entail? Public adjuster you hire when you're like, okay, I can't do this by myself.
Or just do it from the very beginning.
Right.
Okay. So I was only on a catastrophic team. We were living in Baton Rouge and commuting to New Orleans during the Katrina disaster. And so it really was an experience that you can't explain unless you were there. And I can't even explain it, and I didn't suffer the loss, you know. So anyway,
but you see you can't make it up unless you're physically there.
Yeah.
I've been on CAT teams before,
Okay, so the
catastrophe teams.
yeah.
So what happens with the catastrophe team? You go out, and sometimes you don't know. You're basically deployed
Exactly.
somewhere, and you don't know what's going on. And you get there, and the devastation is something. It looks like a giant bomb went off, and there's no recouping. So think about it. Your giant bomb goes off. You have no water. You have no electricity. You have no access to that. Nobody in your 100 square miles has
That's
it
why
either.
I had to live in Baton Rouge.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so people don't realize that the impact that has, it's not just because of hurricane and, because in Florida sometimes, in Orlando especially, we lose some power, we lose some trees. I'm telling you, that was devastating.
Yeah. So I was just like admin, logistics, and I saw what these guys were doing. So just like I usually do, I'm like, I'm going to get my license to do what they do, and then somebody else can be my assistant.
I like this thought process.
So,
we're all going to be Donna's assistant at some point.
Yeah, so I went and got my public adjuster's license. So I was on several CAT teams for Katrina, Ike, went to Pennsylvania for about a year, and then Superstorm Sandy. I was actually working as a realtor at that time, and I walked away from it for 7 months to go work on Superstorm Sandy because it was in my backyard. I had to help these people. I just had to.
Because they had never, in our lifetime or many lifetimes, ever experienced anything like that. You can't overtell how incredibly devastating that was for New Jersey and the shore and everyone around it.
So I did a couple houses, Jersey Shore.
Jersey.
So I opened
Matt,
up,
it's an Uber. You
It's
take an Uber, not an Uber.
So 1 block in from the beach was the house, and we opened the door, opened out, and the sand in the house was floor to ceiling. The first job was we got these big trash cans, and I had these guys just taking all the sand out of the house. So that was the first thing. But with going through all of that is the insurance company is now taxed. They're getting insurance adjusters from all over the world that come in and help, but they're overworked. And they can't possibly do.
There's not enough bodies.
There isn't, and so sometimes the insureds get shortchanged just to get it quickly off their file because they can go to next. So what I decided to do was to make friends with the insurance adjusters and say, how can I help you do your job? And in the meantime, I would point out all different things that they were overlooking or they didn't understand. And if I did the work for them and put it on their desk, then my insureds did very well.
Wow.
So that was part of...
That is being a proponent for the insured. And I think a lot of people get lost in as an insurance agent when it's out of my hands once a claim comes in. And so I would see the insureds suffer because there was such a back and forth tennis ball basically between the attorney, the person who didn't want to pay, the insured, our claims adjuster. And so public adjusters get a really bad rep, I think. But they really do serve such a wonderful purpose.
They do. The good ones do.
Good,
just like everything.
I mean, it's like everything else.
Everything.
All right, so you obviously did that. You still have a passion for it, which I love.
Yes, I'm so insured.
So
just in case there's no houses to
just
sell,
in
I can
case.
adjust them.
So how did you get here? How did you get to?
So, my background for 20 years was real estate. I obviously loved real estate. And then I said, maybe I'll try residential now because I'm not to sit home and do nothing. So I went and got my license, and I joined a company as a buyer's agent, and I hate it. I don't like working for people. So
nice. I love it.
So my company, am I allowed to say who I work for?
Absolutely.
Okay, so my company, Keller Williams Realty, they came in to talk to my rainmaker for my team with a competitor company, and I listened, and I'm like, that's where I need to be. I need to go there. I'm moving to Keller Williams, so I joined Keller Williams in St. Pete Beach. Now, how I got from New Jersey, we don't have enough time to talk how I got over to St. Pete Beach. I met my husband online, got married, boom, there you go.
Nice. And so we're in St. Pete Beach.
And now we're in St. Pete Beach.
I love it.
Okay, so then I did quite well. I sold 2 apartment buildings my first year because I like that bigger product.
Sure.
You know, and I sold homes too. The first year I wasn't doing it all that well, just like everybody else, but I wasn't being consistent. We're going to talk about habits and culture and all of that.
Yes.
You know, so.
I like it. She's directing. So
yeah.
This is good.
Sorry, you're hardly saying
no,
anything.
it's fantastic. No, I'm listening. I'm fascinated. It's awesome.
So I joined Keller Williams in St. Pete Beach, and I fell in love with real estate. And then...
Yeah, how'd you make it over here?
Yeah, so that is the thing. My husband, God bless his heart, he had this great idea that we should buy a short-term vacation property management company. I held him off for over a year. I just had to do it. I was like, either I'm going to get divorced or I'm going to move to Orlando and do this. So we did that for, may I tell you, 18 months because I was going to kill myself.
Well, because
and
that's
to all the honors go to these short-term property rental companies because they do a lot of work. So when you're complaining about your management fees, don't. They do a lot.
Oh my God, I was talking to somebody about that today. It's worth every penny.
It's worth every penny.
Every penny.
So anyway, sold that and then had my license that whole time. I started selling homes for the home owners that I managed. That's what happened.
Sure.
And so once we sold that, then I got serious about building my own real estate business.
And so then you are here, but this is a different brokerage. You're not in obviously we're not in St. Pete Beach anymore.
And every time I say that, they're like, people move from Orlando to St. Pete Beach, not the other way around.
That's right. Hello, Brian. Hey, Mary. What's going on from Nashville? So you're here though. We are in Celebration. So you're at the KW office in Celebration.
Yes, I am.
All right, and tell us what your role is, because you have, and the reason culture came up, the reason it even came into the conversation is I was reading your bio online, and you are the chairman for the culture committee. Is something
at that year.
And I thought that's a great topic. And if you've got you did it 2 years, I think at least. And so I think that's a great topic. Why here? Why this particular office?
So my management company was in Davenport, and this was the closest market center. And originally I had an office for my short-term property management company, and the owner of this market center owns the rights to Davenport. So I tried to get him to open a market center. I tried.
You tried.
Okay. There's no such thing as try actually in Keller Williams. But so once he decided he wasn't going to do that, I moved to the Celebration Market Center. And so something special about Keller Williams in general is that it's run by agents for agents. So even though I am the team leader here, and my job is to carry out the operating principles, vision, to build profit, and to create an area, an office of culture so that the agents can grow their businesses to the extent they want to. So they have an agent leadership council or associate leadership council. So I don't have a vote on that council. So when I have an issue in the market center, I bring it to them and we say, how's it going to affect the agents? That's the first question. If it's good for everybody, we agree.
Sure.
And if it's not, then they don't agree. It gets tabled for another time. It's really interesting because corporate organizational charts, here's the team leader, she's the boss, blah, blah, blah. It's not that way, and I love it this way. Keller Williams, it's like, here's our agents, let's love on them, they're the boss. So I'm truly in servant leadership.
Which I love.
Yeah.
So talk about the culture part, though, because I think people underestimate, I forget what the quote was that I posted this morning, but basically corporate culture is the one thing that as an entrepreneur, as an owner, as a team leader, you really have control over. Like you really can establish it and maintain it. But I think a lot of people underestimate the value of it. They don't know how to create it. They come from a place where maybe they had a negative experience, so how do they create a positive one? So tell me a little bit about being cultural chairman and what you try to establish here in general for culture.
Okay, that's a great question, thanks. So one of my favorite topics. So the Associate Leadership Council has 4 committees, and one of them being culture. So I was the culture chair for 2 years here. And during that time, I was also elected by my peers to represent them as the cultural ambassador at the cultural summit that we have every January in the region. And how that is, it's so backing up, one thing that really attracted me to Keller Williams was Mo Anderson. So she is the backbone of the company's culture. And it's interesting because for years I think culture went away in all businesses, and Mo was leading the way that culture is going to be the way to run your corporations in the future, because people can't just come and get a paycheck and not feel appreciated, right?
Paloma says best team leader ever. Hi, Paloma.
And so,
but what is define culture before you move forward? So like, what is the culture to you? What does that mean? Does that mean everybody gets a hug in a meeting? Maybe. There are many different facets to it. How do you, when you're finished at the end of the day and you go, okay, we had a good day in culture here. What does that look like?
So culture for me, and this comes right from the mouth of Mo Anderson. I admire her so much. She says it's the predetermined way we decide to treat each other. And so it comes right from the good book, do unto others, you know.
Right.
And so we carry that out here. So we're a very competitive market center. However, we also have an abundant mindset that there's plenty for everybody. So we're very collaborative as well. And so that is something that I try to I love on my agents all the time so that they can love on each other, and everybody feels like when they have something that happens that they have to deal with, they're not alone. And I think that's the scariest thing, especially new agents, and actually even producing agents. They need to know they're not alone as well, and sometimes because they have more complex problems, you know, sometimes.
Well, because when you're at a certain level, that's why there's some amazing groups like CEO Club and things where when you're at a certain level and you're producing and you feel like nobody else understands the problems you have at that level, it becomes a very lonely place. What I love about what you're talking about, it's universal what Donna's talking about. It doesn't matter if you're at KW or any kind of corporation, any kind of business, any kind of office. She's creating this environment where everybody feels comfortable and you have your own competitiveness. I'm all for that, right? You want to, because you've got to have a thirst, a hunger for your business, but you also have to be collaborative. I love that word.
I love
and
that.
if you don't create an environment where people feel comfortable being collaborative, if you create an environment where everything's cutthroat and people succeed based on how awful they are to other people, I see it all the time. That is not what you want. So that's really culture. That's one of the aspects that we're talking about.
You know, a lot of times people think culture is like donating, and that is culture. You know, Mo Anderson has a list of 50 things that we have to abide by that keeps us in culture. And one of them is giving 7 hugs a day.
I love 7 hugs a day. Listen, it's funny because you never know who's a hugger, and I'm such a hugger.
I tell them, and then I just do it anyway.
But me too. But I think that what that creates is, all right, so I've got somebody who is trying to emotionally connect with me on a different level than just business. Because a lot of people go through the day, I mean, it's amazing to me, people go through the day without any kind of real human contact, real touch. And so, you know, studies have shown that is the absolute worst thing that you can have as a human being. Monkeys died, if you could Google that. They withdrew touch from them, and they went nuts.
They withered.
Yeah, they withered. And so when you're creating an environment, even if you're not physically experiencing that every day, the fact that your leader has the perception that that's an important thing to put out there, that part of the environment itself is just so critical. I think we're leaving out we're leaving out a human part so often. We're not robots, people. We have feelings, we have emotions, we have fears. We should be encouraged to share them without feeling the ramifications of, oh my God, I shared my feelings, now you're going to take advantage of it and try to use it against me.
You know, I grew up in the 70s. It was a totally different atmosphere in the office. And I am not making light against any thing that might have happened that's bad for people in the offices that we hear about. However, I just went with the flow. No one meant it harmfully to me.
Right.
I never had that experience, and
Right.
so I'm not afraid to give hugs or compliment people or things like that. And you know, there's doing it in such a way that makes them happy and feel good about themselves,
Right.
and that's what it's all about. And if you read more and more why people jump companies, they're going for the culture. More and more companies are saying, wow, Mo Anderson, you were right 20, 30 years ago. We need culture. And, you know, as technology removes the personal contact more and more and more, that's why we at Keller Williams, with Keller and Mo back at the helm, like saying, guys, we have to keep the culture, even though we're going through this also awesome technology revolution.
Marissa Crawford, we're live. If you were watching, you would know that. Yeah, I think that's so important. That technology it's fascinating to me because it's done so much to speed up our worlds. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without my phone.
Exactly.
I think most of us. But it also has created a generation of people who only know how to communicate that way, only know how to express themselves that way.
Yes.
And so it's fascinating to see when you can have a culture where you're combining both.
Yeah.
You're trying to figure out how to, okay, we know we have the great technology, which KW has, and your offices do, wherever you work. But if you don't have the other human side, those people are going to, I'm telling you, at some point they're going to make a leap. It is a very lonely world out there, and people think they're connected, and it's all technology, and it's not real human connection.
Right.
So that's why we encourage our LOs, my LOs on my team, go out. I don't care if it's industry related or not. Please go to another function. Do something else. She said, oops. Do something else that you can do. Don't just be stuck on texting people. Don't just be stuck on interacting with people that way. Go around the office and say, hey, how are you doing? And here you have a very large office with a lot of agents in and out. But what I love that you do is you have regular team meetings. You have regular opportunities for people to connect and hear what else is going on. And there's not this fear of, well, I'm not number one, so I don't want to go because I don't feel good about myself.
And that's what's great also, the Keller Williams system, financially, if I may speak frankly, the person that earns, that sells $13 million, $40 million, or $2.5 million are worth the same financial amount to running the market center. And so I think that in itself breeds culture because, you know, culture is profit, and we're giving our agency opportunity to grow as big as they want to grow.
Correct.
And yet they're still going to have the same expense that they had when they first started. What a great opportunity is that, you know? So that to me is culture, but, you know, we need a profit. We are profitable. Thank you.
So people need to understand that this isn't a non-profit, right? And Benjamin says hi, by the way, Donna.
Oh, hi, Ben.
So it's not a non-profit. So I think a lot of people get that confused. So you work with a company. I get it confused all the people give me a hard time all the time.
Okay, go.
So I'm not a Rockefeller, right? So when we have meetings, when we're here, ultimately we have to make money to pay our bills, to have our pretty necklace or our handkerchief that I have. We have things that we have to accomplish. That doesn't detract or minimize the good work that we're trying to do, the fellowship, the culture that we're trying to create. Those two they're not the opposite of each other. And I think people need to realize that just because you're a for-profit business doesn't mean that you can't create culture, that you can't do good things. And just because you do good things doesn't need to mean you make money. We all need to make money in some way, shape, or form. That's what drives the world. So like culture, I mean, when you can give the life that you promise to your family, isn't that culture? Isn't it? So, and wouldn't you want to be at a place, at a business, in an office, in an agency, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, where that is a thing that's promoted?
Right.
You want to be, and then what that creates, and I think a lot of managers, because they operate from fear, and it makes me crazy, they don't realize that if they just turned it just a teeny tiny bit, and operated from the abundance mindset and wanted everyone to succeed, that we would all be in a better place.
Yes.
I can't make it up. All right, so we're going to share all of Donna's contact information, how you can reach out to her, how you can be a part of, if you're in the business or not in the business, this amazing culture that KW's created, that Donna's helped create, that this entire office, you can't make it up when you walk in. It's a hug. Everything's a hug. Everybody's in a good mood. Even the front office professional, Sharon, she's so good. Like, every time I walk in, she says, hello. She's, and everybody's, when I say trained, they mean it. So that they feel it, so they give it back. And I think people underestimate the value of that as well. All right, so any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to share before
I'd like to say two things.
Please, say as many as you'd like.
So speaking of culture, so one day a year, Keller Williams takes off. And it's the second Thursday in May, so it's coming up, May 9th. And every Keller Williams office in the world shuts down, and they go and do some sort of community outreach. So we will most likely be at the Community Hope Church on 192 this year. And so if you want to know more about how to come out and help us that day, just reach out to me, and I'd love to have you. The more the merrier. And so that's part of what culture is. And also, we always are collecting food and clothing and things like that. The thing that got me the most was one year the Community Hope Church said, can you get us bug spray? And it's for the people that live in the woods in the summer. Yeah. You know, like, I never thought of that.
Who would think about that?
Shame on me. You know, like, I never thought about that. So that really touched my heart. So yes, we have that part of culture, but really, if you're not treating each other well and you're not growing profit, you're not happy. If you're happy, you're giving gratitude, and when you give gratitude, everything else is possible.
Amen.
Yeah.
So was it hard, Donna?
No.
See, it was so easy. You're a natural. I'm like,
I
why
like
are you
to talk,
worried?
as you can tell.
I know. So, and you paid attention. You
I
faced
did.
forward.
I didn't do any of this.
You did not do any of that until right then. So it was really good. You were fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you. And we love you guys. We'll be back maybe Friday, I think. Tomorrow I've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. NAREP Rally, British American Chamber Real Estate Expo. Tons of stuff going on. You're a joy to have on. We love working with you guys, and she's just as beautiful inside as outside. It's amazing to work with Donna Ross and this entire team. We love you guys. We'll be back Friday. Mwah.
Enjoy your
See you later.